Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Now, let's turn to politics in Benue State. The state government has kicked off the APC electronic registration exercise. And according to the state government, this move is necessary for the modernization of the party's membership system. The exercise is expected to help clean up the party register and make participation easier for members across the state. So state officials say it's all about transparency, proper documentation, and strengthening the party ahead of future political activities. So tonight, let's speak with Dominic Alancha. He's an APC chieftain. He's also chairman, Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum. Mr. Alancha, thank you very much for joining me on Politics Tonight. It's great to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening to you. So we've seen reports of your party, the Benue chapter of the APC, commencing distribution of gadgets to local governments, supervisors, and ward agents for the party's e-registration exercise. First, how's it going? It's been 6 days or thereabouts since this exercise started, and some state coordinator of the exercise had said there are sufficient gadgets for the exercise. But why is this e-registration happening now, given the political climate in the state?
Well, thank you very much for having me tonight. Let me first of all start by commending the national chairman for implementing this laudable initiative. This is an idea that has been on the table, since 2016 or thereabout, and in 2022 it was about commencing, but unfortunately we were not able to commence. So I really commend the leadership of Professor Nentawe Yetwada, our national chairman. So this is really, really commendable. Having said that, I want to also appreciate the leadership, of the party in the state and the governor precisely, for the effort he has put in place so far in ensuring that the state commences the e-registration exercise. In my state, the exercise has commenced. I have obtained my membership card. You can see it. I've gone to my ward and my unit, and I've registered in my ward. But there are some things that really need to be dealt with in terms of, the challenges that being faced, by people from the grassroots in terms of this registration. If you notice, the registration in my state is a bit slower, and I believe that it's not only peculiar to Benue State. It's something that cut across the whole entire federation. One of the challenges I've noticed, with the registration is the fact that for you to be able to be enrolled as a member of the APC, you must come with your BVN, not BVN, NIN, that's National Identification Number. You must come with Voters Identification Number, for you to be registered. And in the hinterlands there, it's not everybody that has, this VIN and NIN of a thing. So I think the leadership of the party at the national level really need to look into it and come up with a strategy or a situation that will make it seamless and easy for people to get registered, as members of the All Progressive Congress. A lot of persons, even outside the state that want to register under their state, but they are not able to travel there, cannot be able to do that because the portal is only accessible to people that have been trained to do that. And I think they need to open up that portal for Nigerians to register, because a lot of Nigerians want to obtain the membership card of APC, but because the portal is not accessible to all Nigerians for now, I don't know whether in the future they are going to allow it to be accessible to all Nigerians. It's not accessible to them. And so they need to make it accessible to Nigerians so that Nigerians, wherever they are, they can enroll as members. They can obtain their membership card from wherever they are. As far as they come from a state, they identify with a local government, they identify with a ward. I think this is the best thing for them to do in order to, shop off the membership base of our party. But okay, I can tell you that people are excited. People are, coming out in drones to be enrolled, at the various wards, because people have been trained by the state, by the state party leadership to carry out this exercise, and gadgets like phones, like laptops have been distributed for them to go into the hinterlands and, get people registered. But like I said, the challenges are the challenge of voters card and the challenge of NIN. And there are people, new entrants, people that have turned 18 that want to be members of a political party. They have not been able to register, to have their voters card, and some of them have not also do not also have this NIN. I think we need to really, make it easy for them to get registered as members of this great party.
All right. Thank you for talking about the few lapses and perhaps some of the challenges that may hinder the success of this exercise. I mean, it's new to me and it's very interesting because most of the reports we've seen out there have always talked about how this has been successful so far. But you've spoken directly to the national leadership of your party. But if you were advising the national leadership of your party, what would you be suggesting to them, to the members?
Yes. What I would be suggesting to them is, if you go to the villages, where people are being mobilized for registration, you find out that there are some people, a lot of them has voters card, but they do not have the NIN. Some of them have the NIN, but they do not have the voters card. They need to make it either of those IDs can get you registered. If you have your voters card, what stops you from being registered? They should allow the system to register you if you don't have NIN, but you have voters card. If you have NIN and you don't have voters card, get registered, and then thereafter you go and enroll for your voters card. And I think that is what is best, for us to be able to have a very successful, e-registration exercise. And like I said, the portal should be open for Nigerians to get registered, even though they cannot travel. For those that cannot travel, to their various ward, their various local government, they can be anywhere. Even people in diaspora need to get, to be allowed to have access to this portal so that they can enroll and register themselves as members of this political party. So for me, I think what I would tell the national leadership is to look into it and then, make it either the voters card or the NIN. Okay. Either of it can, serve the purpose of you being registered as a member of the party.
All right, and that sounds very instructive. But there are other concerns, and one major concern I have listened to today is, people questioning funding. I mean, who is funding the technology and logistics behind the e-registration? I mean, I've read that this is sponsored by the governor, but many citizens see this as a blurring of governance and party politics. Do you understand that concern?
Well, I quite understand that concern, but I don't think people really need to be bothered about that. This is a plan, like I said earlier, that has been, brought to the table, an idea that has been brought to the table since 2016 or thereabout, and then in 2022, training were even conducted for people that will go ahead to start, this exercise, but unfortunately, they are not able. You see, the APC is not a small party. The APC is a party, as of 2022, our membership base, was about 40 million Nigerians. That was the membership base, the membership strength of this political party. If you tax these members and these members are paying dues to the party, it will be enough to fund the party without even need any governor or any government official to put in resources, in funding this party. We, members on their own can also fund some of these activities. But however, governments, our governors who are also members of the party, some of them are willingly donating, to the party for them to carry out this exercise. Stakeholders are willingly donating. In my ward, I know what I contributed to facilitate, logistics to facilitate logistics for those that have been trained from the ward to come. Because a ward, like my ward ward we have 9 units, and they are a distance apart, from each other. You need to send in people there. You need to get them a buy. For example, in my local government, you cannot come to my local government headquarters, without spending 6,000 naira. So for us to make it easy, we are contributing as stakeholder from the world. We contributed money to facilitate the mobility, the logistic movement of those that have been trained to go to those various units and get our people registered, and that is what we did. So we are not even waiting for government to do that for us. As members of this party, as passionate member, as committed member, as loyal member of the party, we have been able to do that. And in my word, I can tell you that the registration is ongoing and is going on successfully. But the only thing we are having the challenge is this issue of NIN and then VIN number of your voter's card.
And I'm sure you know that for those with this concern, those who are saying, why is the state government involved in an APC party registration exercise rather than the party handling it himself? I mean, clearly they wanted to know where the responsibility ends and party activity begins in this process. And that's why you had to make that clarification. But coincidentally also the second phase of the CVR is also going on. How is your party making good use of the continuous voter registration alongside party e-registration exercise in Benue? Are these two processes being integrated or are being handled separately?
No, I think arrangement has been made, sensitization, because a lot of persons don't even know that continuous voters registration is ongoing. So what we did is, like I told you, in my local government, for me to come to the local government headquarters and get registered or get enrolled for my voter's card, I have to spend 6,000 naira. That is to and fro. So what we did is to arrange a specific day or a particular day where a bus will convey people throughout the day to the local government headquarters and then bring them back after the registration. So that is what we are doing. But if government can step in, because this is a national exercise, if the INEC can look into it and begin to deploy their staffs. Sometimes ago, I went to INEC to make some findings. Why are they not reaching out, sending, their staffs to, enroll people at the ward level? And they brought up the issues of security, the issues of logistics and stuff like that. And I quite understand them. There are certain terrain that is not, it's not doable for them to go because of some of these challenges. But there are terrain also that is easily accessed. They can make available their staffs at the ward headquarters to register people, who are, of age above 18 to be registered. So for me, I think this is not an issue that the party alone need to do. The INEC itself, which have the mandate of registering these people, mobilizing, creating awareness, to ensure that, they reach out, to people at the grassroots to get registered as voters. But for us as a party, we are doing our best, sensitizing our people that you cannot be able to be part of, choosing the leadership, participate in choosing who becomes your president, your governor, your House of Assembly, your reps, if you do not have your voter's card. So getting your voter's card is even more important to some of us than any other thing at this material time. So we are mobilizing them to go to the local government headquarters and get registered. And that is.
But what message do you, Mr. Alancha, rightly said, what message do you have for young Benue residents about why they should take part in this e-registration? And also, what electoral reforms do you believe are still necessary to improve the voter registration process in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I think this is very, very important, especially the new entrants, like the younger ones, the Gen Z. Just yesterday, I was watching the presentation made by the National Voters Intention research that was carried out by Yaga Africa. And they have it there that young people are likely not to vote in 2027, election. And this is worrisome. We need to do something about it. So I think, if it is true that the young population constitute almost 60% or 70% of the Nigerian voting population, then there is need for us to mobilize them. There is need for us to sensitize them, so that they can get registered. They should begin to see it as their civic responsibility. They shouldn't see it from the transactional, angle that most of them, the research proved to them, they show that some young people see, voting as transactional, while the elderly see it as civic responsibility. I think it will be looked at from that perspective, that it's a civic responsibility. Let's discourage the young people from seeing it as transactional and mobilize them, conscientize them, sensitize them, and then, help them to get registered as voters, because they cannot complain of any leadership they are not satisfied with if they are not able to cast their vote. The only thing that will help them, to be part of, those that will elect their leaders is for them to get registered and have their voters card.
All right. We must go on a break, but I asked that question because APC has often been criticized for low youth participation. The intention or the intent behind the question is, how is the party planning to make the platform user-friendly for young people who may not have easy access to smartphones or the internet? And also, broadly speaking, how does this e-registration drive fit into APC's broader strategy for Benue State politics? But we must go on a break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation. This is Politics Tonight, everyone. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. This is Politics Tonight. Benue State government begins APC e-registration exercise as Governor Hyacinth Alia led a lineup of millions of old and new supporters of the APC in obtaining his membership card. I've been speaking with APC Chieftain, Chairman, Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum, Dominic Alancha. Mr. Alancha, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. We're talking about young people, and the question is, how can political parties connect better with some of these young voters? Because, this is it. For young people, we say party membership can be a game changer because it will connect them with experienced politicians and professionals who can guide them, get them involved in youth wings, campaigns, and other party activities. But many political parties claim they support youth inclusion, yet young people are often given only mobilization roles and not real power. Today I'm asking how many youths under 40 are actually in political parties' decision-making bodies today. But for you as a member of the APC, do you honestly think the party listens to young people or just uses them for votes?
Well, if you ask me, I will tell you that the APC has a very youth-friendly policies, constitution, that has mainstreamed a lot of young people into party politics. And that is why, we are encouraging all the young people who have turned 18, from even, 40 below, to ensure that they get registered as members of APC. And you see, the only thing that will help them to register, because some of them, like I told you, they are not, they are not so conscious of, or they are not so involved in participating in political activities like the older ones, because they have not been involved ab initio. But the only thing that will make them to be involved is when you open up the registration for them to access the portal. For now, for me to be registered, is either I have a contact with my ward chairman or the people that are registering, and then I'll text my NIN and VIN number to them. They can register me by proxy. But the ideal thing is for me to travel. And that is why, in fact, our national chairman the other day was roaring, and challenging those that are holding appointment and are refusing to get registered as members of our party, that look, if you are not a member of this party, you cannot hold appointment. If you are a technocrat, you should go and be doing your consultancy and not come and occupy political space because you are a technocrat. So get registered. So I think the APC, the national leadership, that is why we are calling on them to open up the portal so that young people can access it through their phones, through their laptops, through, whatever means that can give them access to the internet so that they can get registered. And then you see, like I said, there is no political party that has opened up, that have an e-registration, online register, like the APC is the first of its kind, in Nigeria to commence, online registration of party members. So I think they need to open it up so that more people can register, and then it will put an end to the speculative, voting strength, membership strength of our party, which was, pegged at 40 million in 2022. It will put an end to it, and I believe by the end of this e-registration exercise and revalidation, our membership base will rise to over 60 million.
Okay. So finally on this, before I take you up on other matters, it's clear, we know that youths form a majority of newly registered voters. What can be done to keep them motivated through to election day?
Well, what can be done to keep them motivated through election day? I believe the INEC, very soon they will release, their timetable, for the convention. But I want them to know that very soon congresses, based on our own party programs, congresses, and a national convention will commence. Some of us are going to be contesting in the national convention, and some of us are advocating that the national chairman should be retained, zoning formula should be retained, and stuff like that. So activities will soon commence in earnest. I believe by February, our congresses will start and convention will hold in March. So some of these activities are very interesting activities that you cannot participate if you are not registered as a member of this political party. You cannot participate in selecting people that will pilot the affairs of your party at your ward level, at the local government level, at the zonal level, at the state level, up to the national level. So I think there are a lot of activities that will keep them motivated, but above all, I think APC is providing good governance to Nigerians. APC is providing good governance to young people, mainstreaming them, availing them with the necessary skill in terms of technological, skills, for them to be able to remain relevant in the society and add value to their own lives and to their nation.
All right. Let's talk about other issues. First about politics, because a lot seems to be happening in the political space. Today, the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, resigned from the NNPP, and from all indication may join your party, the APC. I want to take you upon, a party that appears to be the only threat or major threat to the success of your party in 2027. We have former members of the APC, some of them former contemporaries of Mr. President, who have adopted the ADC with just one agenda. They say they are ready to unseat Mr. President in 2027. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and others. Let me talk about former Senator David Mark. Two men deeply entrenched in Nigeria political space. For you, what's new about the ADC?
Sorry, can you come again, please?
What is new? What is new about this coalition? What is new about the ADC?
Well, for me, I don't think there is anything new about the ADC. The ADC, if you ask me, they have not been able to present, themselves as an alternative to the APC. And that is because what the APC is doing, there is nothing that any other political party can do differently. In terms of, sectorial achievement, in agriculture, in economy, in mining, and, in oil and gas and stuff like that. So the ADC is not coming with anything new. What is driving them is their quest for power, their quest for their personal drive, for power. Atiku Abubakar is unelectable. A lot of persons, know that even in the north, they cannot vote for Atiku Abubakar because what does he have to offer at his age? I think Atiku Abubakar should concentrate on mentoring younger people to take up from them, and then, become an elder statesman instead of putting himself forward as a candidate. And I tell you the truth, by the time they finish their primaries, because Atiku as is the owner of ADC, is not a democratic party, Peter Obi will weep, Peter Obi will cry because he has shot himself on the foot by going to join the ADC that will not offer him a ticket. And a lot of people from the other side, on the side of Peter Obi, are saying that if not the presidency, nothing. If not the presidency, I saw Aisha Yesufu the other day saying that if Obi accepts to be the vice president to Atiku Abubakar, that she will work against their ticket. And she's not the only person speaking in that line, in that direction. A lot of them are saying that only Obi, they only see Obi as the only person that can be the president of Nigeria, and I think they are also getting it wrong. So the APC, the ADC are full of people who are so power conscious, who are so hungry for power, and I don't know, not for the interests of Nigerians.
All right.
If it is for the interests of Nigerians, they will join hands and support what is happening already on ground, in advancing good governance in the country. Okay.
And, it must be that the concept of change does resonate with politics, especially the Nigerian politics. If not, the next question I would have asked you is, how do old political actors suddenly become agents of change? I hope you have an answer to that. And I do not think that, I can ever get over hearing former Governor Rotimi Amechi boldly telling Nigerians that he's hungry. That was quite audacious too. Former Attorney General of the Federation is under scrutiny, allegedly. So why should Nigerians trust a coalition formed by politicians who once governed and left many of today's problems unresolved? For you, what accountability should these individuals take for Nigeria's current challenges?
Well, you see, that is a very serious challenge that the ADC is going to be facing, because once the campaign, commences, we are going to be asking them those questions for them to answer. We saw, the other day, Malemi being questioned for over 220 billion naira. 220 billion. Do you know the impact of that amount on the Nigerian's health system? Do you know the impact of that amount on our education and stuff like that? One man, cut away, that amount of money. So these are some of the questions that we are going to ask them. And then talking about change, actually, you see, I believe in one saying that was said sometimes ago by, what's that his name, former Minister of Defense, Dr. Shetima Mustafa. When he was being interrogated, when Yaradua nominated him as a minister, a member, a senator asked him that you have eaten your own, you have eaten your grandchildren's own, and you want to eat your grandchildren's own. And he told them that you need your yesterday to plan your today, and you need your today to plan your future. What that means is that as young people, we shouldn't just discard, the older generation, because they have, the wisdom. We need to drink from the well of wisdom in them. We need to be guided by them. We need to be mentored by them. And how can they do that if we are not participating in politics, if we are not participating in governance? So I want to appeal to young people to get involved. Get involved. For example, our congresses and convention is coming. In Nigeria, there is no one. There is no independent candidacy. You need a platform for you to present yourself to be voted. You need a platform for you to vote for somebody that you want to be a leader. If you are not a member of a political party, it makes it practically impossible for you to determine or to be part of those that will, that will participate in the affairs of governance in this country. So I am urging that the opportunity, the APC has availed them the opportunity of becoming members of this party. They should get enrolled and begin to participate. And thankfully, our party constitution does not put any caveat on when you register. If you register today as a member of this party, you can run for the position any position within the party that you want to run. You can stand for election as far as you are above 18, as far as you are eligible to be voted for, you can stand for election. So I want to urge them, we the younger ones are actually the agent of change, but we need the older ones to mentor us. We need people with institutional memory to guide us so that we'll be able to get things right. And that is what the older generation, I believe, within the APC stand for. And I can tell you the truth. I can tell you that in the upcoming national convention, a lot of young people are going to be aspiring for party position at the national level. I, for one, am contesting for a position at the national level, and I can tell you that young people will be mainstream into party leadership at this material time because they need the young people. We have the strength, we have the number, and we can manipulate the number to our own favor.
I mean, you're here tonight selling your party, selling the APC to young Nigerians, but former Vice President Atiku Abubakar recently described APC members as urban bandits and called President Tinubu's government a satanic status quo. How do you respond to such extreme political rhetoric?
Well, what I can tell Nigerians is that Atiku should know that they know him. If you read, my watch, written by President Olusegun Obasanjo, that is booked. I don't know. I think the title is My Watch or something, Under My Watch, something like that. He said so much about Atiku. So Atiku cannot claim members of APC are urban bandits. I don't think, that rhetoric is sellable. That rhetoric is unacceptable. We have the interests of Nigeria. The APC is a truly progressive party, and what Mr. President is doing, he has laid the foundation, to advance good governance in this country by the fuel subsidy removal, by the various policies that he has introduced, especially the stabilization of foreign currency, and stuff like that. So,
but when do we begin to
All Progressive Congress? We are a progressive party. Atiku is saying that. I don't know why he's saying that, but he's only saying that to whip up certain sentiment that is not whippable.
But when do we begin to hold political leaders accountable for inflammatory statements?
Well, to hold them accountable is for us to participate. If we cannot, for example, if we don't have a voter's card, the only way we can hold our leaders accountable is for us to have our voter's card. If they are not able to perform within the stipulated time of 4 years that we give them, when they come back for re-election, we vote them out. But if you don't have a voter's card, you cannot do that. But before voting them out, they must have secured their ticket at the party level. So get registered as a party member so that if they are not able to perform at the party level, we will replace them with more competent people, more people that can be accountable to us, more people that can be, that can deliver on good governance before we even go to the general election.
But why do you think? All right. Why do you think these former allies of Mr. President are now united against him? I mean, just yesterday, former special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on political matters, I'm talking about Akin Baba Ahmed, said the president's record on the economy and security is very poor. The question is, would this alliance exist if these policies, if the president's policies benefited them personally?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the policies introduced by Mr. President is beneficial to Nigerians. And these people, these guys, the likes of Amechi, the likes of El-Rufai, the likes of Maremi that are, forming a coalition against him, they are doing that for their own personal interest. For crying out loud, we know the state of the economy when Mr. President took over. They are saying that Mr. President removed subsidy. It wasn't even Mr. President that removed the subsidy. It was late President Muhammadu Buhari under, President Muhammadu Buhari, that a government that they all served under, that removed the subsidy. If you recall, in 2023, second quarter, there was no provision for fuel subsidy removal in the budget for the third quarter to the fourth quarter. It was when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in that he announced that. So what I'm trying to say is that these people are not pushing for their own, for a national interest. They are pushing for their own personal interest. They are out of power for 1 year and they are uncomfortable with being out of power. They want to grab back power by all means, by crook, by any means. They feel they can grab this power. They want to do that. And I think Nigerians are more wiser than that. They know what is good for them. The economy today is, getting stabilized. I can tell you, if you go to my village today, people are, there is no hunger. Amechi is crying for hungry. Where is the hunger? Nigerians are, the prices of staple food is dropping down on a daily basis. Garida used to say when Buhari was in power for about 900 or 1,000 plus, is today selling at 400. A bag of rice as at then, you know how much it costs. Today the prices is dropping on a daily basis. Go to the market, look at the prices of tuber of yam and all of that. You will appreciate what Mr. President is doing in terms of, stabilizing the economy, in terms of ensuring that no Nigerians go to bed hungry.
Okay, that's a valid point you've raised. But let's move on to another, latest development within your party. For now, we cannot ascertain where this is coming from, but it looks like it's coming from the national leadership of your party. Top leaders of the APC have ruled out automatic tickets to governors who have just joined the party. What is the rationale behind this? Is this wisdom?
Well, you cannot disenfranchise other members of the party. I don't think even you will support the idea of disenfranchising other members of the party. The beauty of democracy is contestation. What the party is simply trying to say is that there will not be automatic ticket for members of APC. The day you decamp into APC, you become a member of the APC. There is no special treatment for you. All you need to do is to be able to sell yourself, canvass, and solicit for vote. So, if the APC members during the primary election say they are voting you, they will vote for you.
So why wasn't this principle, Mr. Alancha?
An automatic ticket. I don't think it is democratic. It is undemocratic, and it is unacceptable. In our party, you must go through the contest so that it will, the democratic norms would be adhered to.
So the question is, why wasn't this principle enforced when APC leaders themselves benefited from automatic tickets in the past?
Please come again.
So I'm saying, why wasn't this principle enforced when APC leaders themselves benefited from automatic tickets in the past? This looks like a two-tier membership system, which is old members, you have these privileges, while new members, you can sort yourselves.
No. I don't think, maybe my memory is failing me. I have not seen a situation where, members are given, whether old or new, are given automatic ticket in the party.
I'm talking about leaders, not ordinary members.
Party is always contested for. When you are talking of consensus, it's a different arrangement from automatic ticket. Consensus is a different arrangement, and consensus is part of our democracy. So it's not automatic ticket. Automatic tickets connotes that you give the person ticket and nobody challenges it. But in consensus, we come together to negotiate, to agree, to come to an agreement and be on the same page that we are adopting Mr. A as our flag bearer. And that is consensus, not automatic ticket. Automatic ticket is a situation where you give somebody the ticket without anybody challenging him or depriving other people from challenging him. But in APC, it's not. I've never, you can remind me where that kind of thing has been done in APC.
Okay. Today you're calling it consensus. And again, I would say why this latest development, when APC continues to say the party is open and welcoming to all Nigerians. Is the party prepared for the fallout of the aftermath of this decision? How does APC expect long-term loyalty from these new members if they're openly told they're second class within the party? Have you also, are you worried about how this decision could discourage future defections that APC relies on to expand its political base? Now, let me give you an example. Now, why should Kano governor leave his comfort zone? His godfather, the Kwakwansia movement, when it's clear that you might not get an automatic ticket?
Well,
Right.
you need to go to Kano to understand why, the Kano state governor is defecting to the APC, because the NNPP in Kano, sincerely speaking, is no longer sellable. In fact, somebody was asking the question of Kwankwasia, that what happens to Kwankwasia, because the Kwankwasia movement is already dead. It's already dead.
Okay, I get that.
And the NNPP is sinking. Now, let me talk about the other issue you just raised. You see, the idea that the party is going to give automatic ticket to certain persons and stuff, it's not automatic ticket. Like I said, it's a consensus arrangement. Okay. Consensus arrangement is something that you have to carry everybody along, and that is always done maybe an eve or days to the primary election. But people will be allowed to aspire. People will be allowed to vie for offices. They will purchase their forms, and then they will be screened, and primary election committee will come. Maybe at that point, they can agree to say, we have a consensus candidate. And if they present it to the primary election committee, they all sign. In consensus, all the aspirants must sign that they have agreed that so-so person, Mr. A or B, should be their consensus candidate. Okay. And that is when consensus is announced.
All right, then. We wish the APC all the very best. Dominic Alancha, APC Chieftain, Chairman, Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Please have a great evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke or using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG. I am Olajumoke Olatiji. Good night, everyone, and have a great weekend.